Hello everyone and welcome to Artists for Everyone. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to make wrapping paper for your dandelion lessons or your etegami that you can use to wrap these beautiful little postcards that you send out in the mail. And I started doing this because I had sent a couple of them out and I had wrapped them in Japanese paper that I ripped out from a novel. Let me actually show you that. So this is one of them, and I picked these up at used bookstores, and they're just full of beautiful paper. And I would just rip one out and then wrap the Etegami or Dandelion lesson in the Japanese paper and decorate it. And what happened is because of maybe humidity in the atmosphere or something like that, some of the text would rub off onto the painting. And so what I did is I started creating these little wrapping papers to wrap them in, and then I still make the Japanese novel paper sort of flap to go on top. And I'm going to show you how I do that. If you can't find a book like this, search online. They're not as hard to find as you think. And you can also create other kinds of little things to wrap it in. Any kind of paper is fine. The main point is that you make it special and pretty for when you send it in the mail. So I'm going to start by making a couple sheets of the wrapping paper to show you that process. And you can use anything to do this that is colorful and water soluble. So you could use your watercolors. You could use any kind of inks or liquid acrylics, anything at all. Even a child's set of watercolors would be fine. And I am a little bit of an ink addict. Well, you know what? It's a wonderful habit, so I'm not going to apologize. But I have a small collection of the Pilot Iroshizuki inks, and I have them in many colors, and I keep them in a beautiful wooden box. And when I do this, I randomly select two. So I just stick my hand in the box and I pull a couple out. And I selected four to show you for this project. Right here I have one called Inaho, and I have one called Yuyaki. So I'll put those together. And I find that it's best if it's just random because the colors always create really surprising results. And then the other pair that I picked was Ameiro and Fuyu Syogun. And I think the name for this in English is Old Man Winter, which I just love. So anyhow, I also have a Chinese watercolor brush, and it's sort of a thicker point, so you could use any pointed round in like a size 8 or a size 10. And then I also have a bottle of Infinite Love flower essence from Lotus Way. And you could use any kind of essential oil spritzer or flower essence, any kind of a natural spritzer that you can make yourself or purchase. I also make them myself. I make this one called Winter Forest, but today I thought I would use this Infinite Love Aura Mist from Lotus Way. It's a lovely, lovely product, and it brings a lot of joy to me. So you can, I'll leave a link to their website in the comments. And then I also have some Tomoe River paper, and I purchased this through Jet Pens in a pack of 50. It's not terribly expensive and it lasts me a long time. And I love this paper. It's the same paper that's in the Hobonichi, the planner I use for my art journal. And I love it because it's so delicate and thin and crinkly and sort of transparent. But it's also very, very strong, and watercolor does not go through to the other side. It's a wonderful paper for many, many purposes. So this is just a blank sheet of that. And it comes in two colors. It comes in white and in cream, and this is the cream. I like it because it's still very light, but it's just softer than bright white. So I open my inks up so they're ready to go. Again, this is Inaho and Yuyake. And I wet my brush with clear water, and I just sort of smush some water around on the Tomoe River paper. And that gives the ink a place to travel to once I start adding it. And once that's down, I sort of dry my brush off a little bit and I dip into one of the colors. I'm going to do the Yuyaki first. And I just put it on the paper and I just let it sort of travel. That's it. So that's that color. Beautiful, beautiful clear orange that sort of bleeds out into pale yellows. Then I rinse my brush well and dry it off a bit. And now I'm going to dip it in the Inaho. And Inaho is this gorgeous golden sort of olivey green. It's just beautiful. And I sort of mix them together. And I add a little bit of water, maybe to the edges, to let them travel a little bit more. And if I want to add a bit more of one color or the other, I take the time to do it. So I might drop in a little more of the Yuyaki. Maybe even a little bit more of the Inaho over here. I can always add more water and just let them mix and mingle. And once I have the colors down, the inks down on the paper, and again, you could also use watercolor or liquid acrylics, any kind of color that's water soluble. I tilt the paper and just let the inks sort of mix and mingle. Let them move around a little bit. And then I take my spritzer, or whatever it is that I'm using, and I just give it a little spritz. And it just infuses it with those natural elements, either the essential oils or the flower essences. Gemstone and crystal essences would be fine. You can make those yourself by taking a bowl of clean water and putting some crystals in it and setting them out in the sun for a little while. So that is all I do. And I'm going to move this paper away and I'm going to let it dry. Let it dry completely. All right, so I'm moving this one. And then I'm going to make another one. And I usually make one at a time, but sometimes I'll make 2 or 3. So now I'm going to use the Amairo and the Fuyu Syogun, Old Man Winter. Again, I'll start with just water on the paper. Also, you could use any paper. It doesn't have to be Tomoe River paper. I like it because it's so light, but you could find other light paper. Even copy paper would be fine. It's going to have a different look to it. The copy paper will let the ink soak right in and then the water will bloom around it, but that's fine. You could even use newspaper. Try all different kinds. So this is the Amairo. It's beautiful, brilliant blue. And then this is the Fuyu Syogun, which is sort of a cool gray. And I mix them together and I add a little bit more gray. And soften the edges, kind of just put some clear water around the edges to soften them and to let the ink sort of move and bleed around on the paper. There. And I'll do the same thing. I just sort of lift it up, tilt it, and I'm not trying to control it. I'm just trying to give it some freedom to mix and mingle. It's lovely, so pretty. And I'm going to spritz it with my Infinite Love Mist. And it's really interesting because I could use the same 2 colors and spread that out on paper, and then I could use Infinite Love on one and Winter Forest on the other, and they do completely different things. The different natural elements react differently with the inks and paints. So I'm going to turn the camera off now and let this dry, and then I'll be back to show you what I do next. Okay, so my ink has dried on my papers, and you can see all of the beautiful colors and patterns that just 2 inks have created. It's really beautiful and fun to watch, and every single time I do this it turns out differently, and it's just such a joy to do, and even more of a joy to wrap something to send out to someone. So that's the first one that I did, and then here is the second one. Just beautiful. And then this is what I did earlier. I've already put a stamp on it. A purple and a blue that mixed together, so pretty. And then here's one more. That's the Inaho again with another color. So I have 4 that I can work with here, and I think, boy, I really love this one. I think I'll do that one now. It sort of looks nice with the Etegami that I made, the Dandelion Lesson. And I made this the other day and I would like to send it out to someone. And so I like these colors together. They're really beautiful. So the first thing I do is I want to put a stamp on here. And I have my little collection of rubber stamps. They're just different stamps that I've collected over time. I even have my chop in here. And I think, let's see, I think I'm going to choose this one that I really love. Just kind of an abstract pattern. And I'm going to choose an ink color. And I think for this one, I'm gonna choose this purple, and I'll just put some of my ink on the stamp, just make sure I cover all the areas. And then I think I'll put it right here. And you can put 1 stamp, you can put 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So let's do one more. I have this lovely leaf that I think I'll try. And, you know, I have this red ink that's sort of sparkly, so I think I'll use that one. And it's fun to collect inks and stamps over time. I really enjoy it. I think I'll put it right here. And you can see it sort of has a shimmer to it and stands up off of the dark ink, even though it's a lighter color. So I really like that. And I think that's good. So once that's done, I tend to let the stamping ink dry on the paper because it is kind of thick and it does take a while. So I think I'll go back to another one that's already dry. This one here. I put a stamp on this one earlier of a bird, okay? And then I'll show you how I wrap an Etegami. And let's see, do I have another? I think I have another one that I made somewhere. No, I don't. I'll wrap this one in this color. That's fine. So once it's like that, I just turn it over and I put the Etegami on top of the paper, and what I do is I fold it over. And then I use washi tape to tape it together. So I just kind of fold the corners just like you're wrapping a present. And my children will attest I am the world's worst present wrapper as far as being neat. That's okay. And I have this lovely kind of bright blue patterned washi tape, and I just take a little piece. I'm not precious with it at all. I just put it on. I don't cut straight edges or anything like that. I just tear it off and use it as it is. because that's beautiful. Okay. All right, so now I have this lovely wrapped dandelion lesson to send to someone. And I think I will show you how I do the Japanese paper on top. So I just randomly open the book and I make sure there are a couple images in here that are kind of disturbing. I don't know what this book is about, but so I always make sure I don't choose one of those by accident. And I just rip it out so the edges tear haphazardly. It doesn't matter. And then I fold it in half. And it'll slip over on top of it like this, and that little bird will peek out. That's sweet. But before I put it on there, I decorate this as well. And I will use washi tape and stamps, all the same things. I love this washi tape because it's so neutral. Washi tape is super fun to collect too. All of these things. And I'll just put it down and then tear the edge. I'm going to wrap it around the other side and just make sure it's flat. And then I'll choose another stamp. I actually have this washi tape too that I really love, and I think I'll use this. It comes in little strips. It's really fun to collect these things over time when you can, and then you have this kind of varied collection that you can dip into when you're making these things to send out. Well, I'm having trouble with my fat fingers. There we go. And they're very transparent. They're beautiful. So I'll put that down. And then I'll choose a stamp. And I think I'll use my porcelain stamp and this red ink. This is just a tree. I think I'll put the tree right here on top of that sticker. Give it a little bit of contrast. And then maybe I'll choose this one. I love this one. It's a leaf poem. No idea what it says because it's so tiny. But I'll use this lovely leafy green. And maybe put that down here. And if you don't have stamps, you could also draw on it. You know, you could draw with graphite or colored pencils. You could write a note on top with black ink that would kind of stand up off of the text on the paper. But I keep it fairly simple. I just do a few things to make it personal and fun. And then you can slip this in here. And I either use a paper clip or another piece of washi tape to sort of secure it. But I have these sweet little bird paper clips that someone gave to me. So I'll use that. I also just use regular paper clips sometimes. And there it is. It's finished. A gift wrapped dandelion lesson. And I just put this inside of a regular white envelope and seal it up, write the name on, to address it to who I'm sending it to, and maybe put a couple stickers or stamps on that. And I think it's just a lovely thing to receive, and it's a few moments of your time. It's totally enjoyable. So it brings me joy, and then I hope that it brings joy to the person that I send it to. So I hope this was fun, and I hope you'll try it, and please share it with me on social media when you do. I'll leave my links to my Instagram and my Facebook account in the description box, and also a little bit more information on the materials that I used. Thanks a lot for being here. Have a great day. If you enjoyed this, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel for updates on all the latest videos. Thanks so much.